Postpartum depression is obviously a huge issue. A growing body of research has found that maternal mental health can significantly impact a child's physical, intellectual, and emotional development. And regarding the mom, postpartum depression can be incredibly debilitating and significantly impact the woman's ability to care for herself or for her child. So how do we prevent postpartum depression? One possibility is identifying markers or factors that are strongly predictive of postpartum depression on an individual level, preferably prior to the onset of the symptoms. And so these are known as biomarkers, which are like measurable substances whose presence might predict the onset of an illness. So things that might indicate that a woman has a higher chance of developing postpartum depression include a psychiatric history prior to pregnancy, a family history of psychiatric illness, especially postpartum depression. For example, if your mom or your sister had postpartum depression, and being depressed in pregnancy. These are all associated with the development of postpartum depression. And regarding biomarkers, epigenetics, they seem to have the most promising potential. It's believed that hormonal changes during pregnancy could lead to epigenetic changes of particular genes that serve as a marker for an underlying cause of postpartum depression. And there are two genes in particular that researchers at Johns Hopkins Women's Mood Disorders Center have found were able to correctly identify whether a woman did or did not develop postpartum depression with an 87% accuracy, which is a huge breakthrough. And these genes, they've been found to play a part in the brain's ability to change and adapt new information, and in estrogen signaling. So these genes were found through assessing the woman's blood. So that's an important point. This is all done just through a blood test, which is really amazing. They can test the blood for these genes. And there was another study done at the Van Andel Research Institute that found that inflammatory markers in the blood are likely to identify those who have the highest risk of pregnancy-related depression. And so these researchers, they identified 15 blood biomarkers that were linked with an increased risk of depression during pregnancy and postpartum. And ultimately, this team was more than 80% effective at predicting the likelihood that a woman would develop depression while pregnant or in that postpartum stage. And so this specific study suggests that inflammation is the link between these biomarkers and pregnancy-related symptoms. And the researchers explained that the body's immune response changes dramatically during pregnancy, which is a normal and healthy bodily response. However, it also tends to cause inflammatory markers to spike, especially in the beginning and the final months of pregnancy. And so this inflammation, it can affect women really significantly mentally and physically. So to let you know what the gist is, the thought is that eventually a simple blood test could lead to information about whether a person has a higher chance of developing postpartum depression. And, of course, more research is needed on the connection between epigenetics and postpartum depression, but the hope is that this research will eventually lead to find a way to actually prevent postpartum depression. So we're not there yet, but it is really exciting that we are moving in that direction.